think we're live. I think we're too late.
Oh, no, well, we can. No. This episode brought to you by Stella Artois. Stella Artois. Drink it while you're making a podcast.
We're literally live.
Okay, I'll stop.
And we're back. Another episode of Panther Airsoft Folding Table Talk. This is episode 11. And we're getting closer and closer to that podium back there, guys.
Yeah, just a graveyard sitting right behind me. I'll drink to that.
You got me, Poi, your moderator and host. Let's start with Tack over here.
Hey guys, well, how's it going?
There's Tack. We got Mac back there.
Mac is sitting in the middle.
Of course. All right. And we got Elliot.
I'm also sitting in the middle.
And we have Laura.
Hello to all 5 people who will watch this.
Oh, ouch.
That hurts, Laura. That hurts.
They're all sitting at this table.
We do it for those 5
Okay,
people.
Poi's mom watches this too.
Mom?
Thanks, boys,
Say
Mom.
hi to your mom.
She's a nice
Hi,
lady.
Mom. Since you're new here, Laura, it's time to grill you. Who wants to go first? I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing Airsoft? Actually, specifically after that, when did you start playing Airsoft with Elliot?
I've been playing Airsoft for a few years, but I got into it a lot more the past couple years just because I've had more time. I go through phases where I play a lot and then I take a little bit of breaks. I like just coming and hanging out. But Airsoft is fun too.
So does Elliot drag you in the morning over here?
No, I come on my own accord.
As a disclaimer.
Yeah, that sounded normal.
I'm not kidnapped, I promise.
And you run the local girl gang around here, I believe?
I would say it's more of a joint effort, but we do have a girl squad that we play together. It's quite fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's quite a few of you. How many is there?
There's probably at least 5 of us that like regularly play, but pretty much whenever there's girls around, we just get them to join the girl squad. It's not a cult, I promise.
Cult of Laura?
Oh, let's not talk about that.
As far as like girls playing in Airsoft, is there like a big sort of appearance like in Airsoft or in Panther in general, or is it still a sliver, a small amount?
I'd say over the last few years, there's definitely been more of a female presence in Airsoft, which has been really nice. A lot of girls come out because they come with their brother or their boyfriend or something, but then they end up keep coming because they really like it. It's quite fun, and it has been historically a male-dominated sport, but girls are noticing that it's fun to play too, so it's great.
Yeah, they're pretty aggressive too, guys. Yeah. Go.
What is your favorite game mode to play?
To be honest, I really like medic games. I do like objective-based games too. However, I don't really go for the objective. But I like watching other people go for the objective.
Of course.
I like more creative games.
So you like the support roles then?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, I guess my question for you is like, what's your favorite, airsoft gun? Like, do you have a favorite airsoft gun?
I was really excited to get a Scar L. Unfortunately, it's broken right now, but I'd say that's probably my favorite gun.
And then how many other guns do you have right now that you regularly or that you?
Yeah, you're an airsofter, so let's be real.
That's not Elliot's.
I know you have your own guns. So.
Yeah, I own 3 myself. One of them is broken, so I really just play with the 2.
Oh, Elliot, go fix it.
I know, right?
I fixed the 2 electric ones. The last one's a gas gun, boy. Sounds like it's up your alley.
Oh boy, yeah, send it to me.
I will.
All right, and let's Elliot. Do you have any questions for?
No.
He's bored of me. It's okay.
All right.
We spend all our time together.
That is true. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Your input will be valuable for
Sure
today.
it will be.
Yep. Any updates from our last podcast, guys? Well, other than me, I took a little one to Airsoft.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to take the lead on that,
yeah.
boy. You were the only one that
Boy,
was.
ask yourself the question
yeah.
in third person.
Hi.
Boy,
So
how
last.
was the update from our last podcast?
Oh, it was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for leading. So I took a little one. His first time, 11 years old. Like, his parents were scared that it was like it's gonna hurt. They wanted a kid outside because he's spending way too much time playing roadblocks in Minecraft. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's quarantine. Like, you're like,
What else are you supposed to
what
do,
What
right?
else are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
So I took the kid, signed for his waiver and stuff, had the parent sign the waiver, and then I was the guardian. And then after that, it's pretty much, the kid was excited, watched all my videos that night before going to Airsoft, and then he was asking me all these questions. And then once he got here, he was super stoked. I got him geared up, and then he was like in front of that lineup right away. And he played for the entire 8 games or something. I was having a hard time trying to catch up.
I did see you out there all day, and you looked tired at the end of it.
Yeah,
I saw that too. I was like, really?
I was
Normally
only-
you're done by 3.
There's Papa Poi right there, and he has just played a full day of airsoft.
What did you have him run, or did he have his own airsoft gun to be running?
he didn't have his own there. This is someone who came in here with no knowledge at all,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he picked up the knowledge within like a week. The reason he knew me was because he was watching a little bit of videos before that, like watching Trouble in Terrorist Town and then some of my videos, and then he full on binge watched the entire thing at night before he came here, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. So
And-
did you just let him like pick off the wall or what?
Well, so I gave him the best gun there, the Trident 2.
Of course, yeah.
Bad idea because I spoiled the heck out of
Oh,
him.
well, exactly. He's not going to be the same.
And you notice his chest rig was the least
Yeah.
strategic chest rig, which is like what, like $200 something.
Like, who else is getting a start like
Yeah,
this?
that kid's never. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You
but
really buttered his biscuit.
yeah, but he enjoyed it and he probably wants to come back again. It all depends upon his parents and stuff. And I told his parents like, yeah, if he wants to buy his own gear, then go for it. But looking at the prices, I don't think he's something that they want to spend on, right? But
Yeah, no, it's understandable, but at least he was able to have that experience and those memories kind of thing. So
Yep.
then if, like we were talking about before, right, having that purchase power of himself, then he can kind of get himself set up and go out
yeah,
there.
I mean, that first time experience, you gotta cherish it.
100%,
with
yeah.
them, because if they had a bad experience, they're not gonna come back. right?
Exactly. It's
So-
really hard to bring someone back like a second time when you have a really bad first time.
Yeah. So that was the updates from the last podcast. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the kid had fun.
I guess other updates, weather's been good, so but still hydrate and everything like that. Hydration's key thing, especially in this season. But the weather wasn't too bad, so you didn't have to shed as much gear as you did a couple weeks back.
It's going to be spicy hot this Sunday.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
Sunday though is going to be something of a scorcher.
High 30s, yeah.
Yeah.
So, those listening, before Sunday, smoke grenades not allowed.
Unfortunately, yeah, we get that question asked
What
a
if
lot.
they're cold burning?
So, cold burning smoke grenades are not cold burning, they're interior burning, and all it takes is one wrong move and they go boom.
They blow up.
But
in
I've
your hands.
used them
Yeah.
at countless fields and never had a problem.
Well, wait till you see one go off in someone's hand and then you'll reassess that.
Airsoft.
I mean,
Airsoft.
I mean, you're right. Like cold burning, it still has to burn the chemical somehow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's still an ignition, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's still a problem, especially if we've got dry grass and dry twigs out there, which we do, being a forest. So
Yeah, I'm not a science major or anything like that, but I don't know too many, chemicals that kind of react together without creating some sort of heat to cause some sort of smoke. So definitely
Why are you not a science major?
because
I don't think you need to be.
Be a science major.
Yeah, get on that tack.
Why are you not doctor yet?
Oh man, don't go there.
thanks, Mom.
I just had my mom flashback. Okay.
Yeah, just a reminder, hydrate. Also, a good reminder, waivers and rentals. Like, just do them online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And make
Limited
sure that
number.
your goggles are rated.
Ooh, thank you.
Ooh,
Laura.
yes, that's a good one,
actually-
Laura.
We've had that come up a few times there.
This weekend, I'm guessing.
Actually, someone tried to sneak in again, had them.
Sneak in. Buddy came in with snowboard goggles thinking they'd be okay.
well, that's the one you
No,
learned.
actually, I had
No, I'm talking about something
No,
else.
I had
okay,
another
you had
person.
another one.
Yeah, we had
you know
another
the
person
guy,
sneak
we
in.
had the glasses, the guy was wearing squash glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Another one of those.
Racquetball
Again?
glasses.
Yeah.
Exact
Oh my
same one.
gosh.
He showed up
Yeah,
and
Gavin, being fucking legendary,
Yeah.
caught them in the field, and he was like, "Okay, I've
In
got
the
to
field,
Like,
oh.
no, just before he goes in the field, right? Comes to get me, and we can't find him. That's why you saw me running around.
I remember
Yeah.
the frantic run, but I remember we stopped at snowboard goggles right at the admission window. I
Yeah.
saw that, and I was like, "That's way too colorful."
Are those Dye-4s?
no.
The snowboarding version.
Exactly.
Die sponsor us. We said your product.
Sean White, get into airsoft.
So yes, just make sure that your goggles are ANSI rated. They have to be ANSI Z87+, and it should say it on the lens, not just the box.
Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome.
There you go. Awesome.
This is why she designs the website for me.
Hey.
ANSI, sponsor us.
They actually would have the money.
All right. So let's just jump right into it.
Dive into the meat of the topic.
Yep.
here.
So what our topic today is, actually, let's address the elephant in the room. The video release of Prairie One Dog.
Prayer one redog.
Prairie One Redog. Prairie Dog. So he was, he had a rant / complaint about spawn camping. Understandable that it is
Again.
a common thing in airsoft. If one team is not doing well and they push them all the way to the other side, yes, it is going to be a a slugfest at their spawn.
Okay, but we got a slight problem there. As I say it every time we have these, well, there's a chance to spawn camp, and I say it out loud to the entire group. If you spawn camp, you're a dick.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So if he's getting spawn camped, yes, you had dicks. And it's like, oh, I'm not a dick, I just wanted to spawn camp. That makes you the dick. So don't do that. You can back off and let them come out and you have fun instead of just shoot people as they respawn. You may as well have hacks in a video game at that point.
It's usually why we have an objective
Yep.
for the game, so that people have something to focus on. But of course, like Elliot's saying, we do have those dicks who like to stray away from the objective.
Look, man, I didn't come here to play the objective. I came to get onto the field, sling BBs, and stack bodies, okay? If they're renters, if they're seasoned airsofters, I don't care. Bottleneck it, send them my way. I'm just going to hit them with my HPA gun. What up, bro?
So here is like a debate right here is the referee
Responsible?
should be like, are they responsible for the spawn camping or is it the players?
The referee is not responsible. 100% not responsible.
You can try and mitigate.
They can help, but the
Yeah.
idea is the referee cannot make you good at airsoft.
Yeah. So if one team's not doing well, the referee can mitigate it.
Pissed off everyone over that.
I was just saying, kind of the way you frame that, it's definitely an attack on the whole community. I won't lie.
But that's the point. It's like,
it's a team game.
Yeah.
it is a team game, but at the same time, all it takes is one person to step up and be like, look, we'll all go this way together, we'll get out the line of fire. But the ref can't be in like, oh, here's an airstrike every damn game, because people were like, well, I only brought 10 rounds for my one pistol, and I can't fight these guys with LMGs. It's like, you chose to go with a pistol. Or it's like, I only brought a bolt action rifle. Again, the ref did not make you do that. The ref is there for safety. Make the game, make sure the game is safe to play, make sure the game continues. If one team can't figure out how to get out of their base, the ref can't give you the ultimate solution to everything, or what's the point of even playing? At that point, the ref may as well just play for you.
That is true. You do take out a little bit of the challenge if you, kind of just like
Cater
some of the video games where they have the, active blinking quest marker kind of thing. When you do that, you make it a little too easy, right? Like I know I have a lot more fun when you overcome a challenge and stuff like that. But it's definitely like you said. It's yes and no. Like the ref can't be responsible for everything because the
I didn't
ref.
say that yes, I'd say no.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like they can't be responsible for everything, Like that's the way I look at it. It's like there's so many players, especially on those busy days. It's like even if you had a small game with 10 people and stuff like that, that's still one set of eyes watching 10 people,
Well, just
and
remember,
you can't be.
places like Walmart have more staff members per customer than we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a grocery store that has to help people find stuff, right? People that actually get service, they have more people. So it's like when we're down to minimalist, just like numbers, we're a safety thing. We want to make you safe, and you go to create your own fun. We can't create yeah, sure. If we create an objective and someone's cheating, we'll deal with that. But we're not there to make you leave your base. If you want to hide in your base, that's on you. That's how you chose to play that game.
It's true, and it's like I know from a player perspective, it'd be nice, if we could have, maybe even just the ref or whatever it is, come out and clear out the area from like a player perspective. But I also understand from a reffing perspective, that's not really ideal, and in my opinion, also from a ref standard, not necessary to do, because again, challenges in there to make up for the fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I agree that the ref's paramount concern should be safety, and it is an honor-based sport. So I think that everyone should be playing in a way that's going to make everybody have fun. Like, you shouldn't be spawn camping.
Yeah, I agree with Laura there. It
But
is.
there's dicks out there.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But just like with anything, though.
There's dicks out there.
And that's
Are you one of them? Are you one of them?
you can have a code of conduct.
I
Right?
mean,
that
I've
kind of-
been there, but I also try and like police myself. Like I also like, I mean, when I'm playing, like I never stop working. So like, if I'm out there playing a game and I'm not reffing or anything like that, most of the time people won't like recognize me in my gear and stuff like that, which kind of plays into it too. So like,
No, but they recognize when you shoot.
yeah, but like, I'm just talking about like, you know, like say we've pushed up to an objective and then there is no real reason to push beyond that. I'll be one of those guys saying like, hey man, like hang back, like, you know, let him push up 100 feet, right? Actually have a fight here. Don't like. There's no point in just schwacking him before he gets out of the spawn, because it's like, okay, well then let's just end the game now.
Well, you actually ended up with an argument like that a few weeks
Exactly,
back, where you
exactly.
told someone that, and they were like, "Well, I'm having fun doing this," and you kind of like, "Well, what's the point?"
I've had that argument a few times, man. Like, yeah, it's definitely come up a few times when I just, because like, you know, it's like I'm not trying to take away from people's fun. I'm just trying to make sure everybody's having fun. So like when it comes down to like, you know, policing the flanks or stuff, like right when I was out there reffing a game and just making sure boundaries got held up and everything, I kind of like emphasized on all the people that were at the flank there. I was like, wow, you guys are really far away from the objective. Like, you know, like, hey, you guys are losing the objectives. Like, hey guys, so I know you're stacking a lot of bodies, but you really are losing the game. So in the grand scheme of things, you suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's keeping a kill count.
Right? I like, like, I do not care about your KD today.
And also, to reference this, if you ever want to know who won a game, ask the ref. They will always tell you. We don't announce it because some people just don't care, and it's really hard to announce it when we've got to set other things up. But the ref will always keep a count of it to himself. If someone comes up and says, who won the last game, the ref can tell you right away who won that last game.
Yeah.
Well, and if you're having fun, but you're making it so other people aren't having fun, you should really be thinking about that, because it's very community based. If you make it so people don't want to come back, then you're not going to have people to play with. It's as simple as that.
And
And you know what we do to those people?
what?
They get put on a blacklist.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy to kind of like blacklist yourself in the community too, right? When it comes down to it, like, because I don't even. I'll just start again. It's okay. Okay. So it's really easy to blacklist yourself when you're in such a small, tight-knit community and stuff like that, where, you know, a lot of people, like, everybody knows each other within a friend or two and everything like that. So, like,
Well,
if
also
you-
the internet. I'd like you to remind you to Elliot's a verified verification guy on Airsoft Canada. So
Age
if you
verifier.
yeah, age verifier. So if you get blacklisted that way, then you're basically done.
I don't blacklist people on ASE. I verify them.
But it's possible, is
It
the other thing,
Yes.
right?
Like, the idea is when you go through the verification process, I do actually have the option to say whether or not you should be verified based on your previous history.
Yeah.
Of course, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't using Airsoft Canada for that kind of stuff anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
There's many different factors in play for that. But the point is the same. The community is willing to listen to people when they say this person should not be trusted in the community because of their behavior towards other people. 'Cause
Exactly.
what are they going to do next? They're going to scam someone. They're going to rip
Yeah.
someone off when it comes to a gun. You don't really know what's going to go on.
Yeah,
So
'cause
that's why
Yeah.
the system is in place.
I definitely know that. That's what I use Airsoft Canada for too, as a resource in
So-
the past and stuff. So
Let's get down to the nitty and gritty here, though. So what I want to know from this, because we've got the best resources here. We've got Poi from the meme team, who runs his own private games. You got Tak and I, who have helped out in countless drop-in games. You've got Elliot and Laura, who are definitely running the drop-in games. So when it comes down to it, how do we make an Airsoft game? Elliot?
Okay, there are 3 key components to this: location, time, objective.
Okay. Right. So those are obviously pretty, like, you know, easy things to route off there and everything.
Okay,
like that, right?
so it's easy to say it, but when it comes down to it, and I really want to stress this, what we're going to be talking about could take up to an hour here. My staff do this in 5 minutes.
Yes.
So whenever someone's like, oh, that game sucked, the ref sucked, he just built a game in 5 minutes, and most people will sit at home and they'll be like, okay, I'm going to design this game in my head, and it's going to take a few hours while I get all these like stuff worked out. My staff can do it in 5 minutes in their head and not take a break as they do it. So that's how quickly my staff are doing this. So you got to cut them a bit of slack. If there's a little bit off and you're like, I didn't really like that, it's because, yes, one thing can go wrong and it could throw a wrench into the plans.
And what Tack and I were talking about on the car ride over here and stuff like that, is the list of variables, the ever-changing variables that get involved, right? So your available fields at the time, right? I know Panther, we are such a large area and everything like that. We've got different sections of the field, but we do run private groups and stuff like that when they book and reserve time properly. And yes, drop-in games do take precedent over that, but if we run a game.
They do and they don't.
I get what I remember how we were talking.
The private games don't necessarily fall second rate to the drop-in games, depending on what they are. So across the river, for example, those guys will have precedent across the river. They have fully developed that field. They said anyone can play it, but they will get dibs on that field whenever they want it because they've spent thousands in developing that section of the field. Mm-hmm. The Chinese group, they run games for Panther completely free of charge in Chinese. So they don't expect anything from me, and all they want is to be able to speak in their native language, which I'm like all for because at the end of the day, it makes people more comfortable to play. Now, if we have, say, a group of people that just come in, like 3 or 4 friends that I want to run a private game, you're going to run second rate. Mm-hmm. So that's where we have a bit of a hiccup. And yes, these things do change when people are like, well, I want to play that field, and another group has taken that game all day. And it's like, well, unfortunately, depending on the group, it will be that factor, and we will work into that. And yes, 57 acres becomes a lot smaller when you start dividing up the field. And everybody wants the same 3 maps.
Mm-hmm. Pay $200 to pass go.
Well, yeah, and then obviously our number. So for the drop-ins here, speaking directly on our drop-in games that happen Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 6 or 11 to 6. Sorry,
10 to 6.
Well, we're open at 10.
We open at 10 for that first hour of gear prep and safety.
And
then our first game is 11.
So
but the reason we open at 10 is strictly for
that prep.
Yeah,
exactly. So
because people take forever to prep.
A lot of people misunderstand that, right?
Yeah.
So going into that, obviously, one of my biggest factors that I see in the gameplay and everything like that is numbers. So how many people do you have playing? How many people do you have? And this is where you're saying we come up with a game, and how many people sit out because they don't want to play that game, right?
Yeah,
so there you go. You just lost a large chunk of change.
So my staff have to have at least 2 games ready, right? Mm-hmm. One for over 50, one for under 50 kind of thing.
Exactly.
And so they have to be ready to redesign a game while standing in front of 50 people, right? Mm-hmm. So that kind of thing, it takes a lot of public speaking. A lot of these kids, I say kids because they are still minors. They're under 18, and they are public speaking in front of 50 to 100 people without a hiccup. Yes, every now and then there are hiccups, and people that really don't appreciate the fact that they are minors with a hiccup every now and then don't understand how hard it is to public speak, because I'd ask any of those people to public speak on a weekly basis in front of a large crowd.
Oh, well, I would just ask any of those people that like to speak up there to help to run a game.
Oh, I've done that a few times.
Exactly. Sit out and run the game.
Horribly for them.
It's definitely intimidating, and I'm afraid of doing it.
A lot of people talking in the peanut gallery, not a lot of people willing to come up and swing the hammer. So it's like definitely.
And on top of that, like those guys have to be like they have to be concerned about people's safety too.
Yeah.
And that's a big responsibility as well, on top of public speaking.
And that comes into their game design, right? They have to be safety conscious while designing a game that's entertaining, and it's not the same repeat game every game. Mm-hmm. So there's the safety factor they're working into a 5-minute timer they have to work out a game.
So then, Mac, I'd like to kind of focus on what you were saying there. Then, so what you're saying is that when you come into trying to design a game or whatever it is like the player numbers is a big factor in how you design your game. Then?
That's usually number one that I'm looking at right there. Is number one, because like Elliot was saying, is like location, objective, everything like that. So the first thing I want to know is what's my numbers.
Okay.
And the second thing I'm going to do from there is, okay, where can we play? And then the third thing from there is I can design any game mode around knowing what area we are playing in. So that's something that we can kind of navigate around and stuff. But obviously numbers dictate what.
So then I guess the way we would sort of describe what you're designing is more of pickup style games, sort of like more arcadey, kind of like you can play on a weekend drop-in sort of basis.
I'm literally confused on where we got this definition wrong. That's literally what I'm saying right now. It's drop-in games, Tack.
Chair's right there, by the way.
Yeah, are you picking up what I'm putting? Are you at the same podcast I am, or what?
You picking up that chair he's putting down?
We're talking about
okay,
dropping
yeah,
games
okay.
right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think just to add on to the numbers point there are a lot of people that ask for a TTT game and there's 50 players. You just
No.
can't do some game
No.
modes with a large.
Yeah, Philly, what is your max for a TTT?
For me, see, my
You're the
experience.
reason people even ask for TTT.
This is
so-
the
All your
problem.
fault.
This is
You're
the problem.
responsible.
Thank you. No problem. The when you see videos like that online running TTT, the first thing you'll notice is the numbers are even smaller. The max I'll ever do is like 13 to 14, never over. Like 10 is like I'll stop there. But if someone jumps in, I'll be like no, right? But do understand, I've already discussed this before. Do understand that when I run TTT for the meme team, it's 30% fun, 70% work, right? Because like it's a production as well as a game, right? Like most of it is production because it has to look good on video, and sometimes it's scripted. But let's not talk about that.
House game is exposed.
We'll just cut that part out.
Yeah, it is sort of scripted. Reason it's scripted is because I have a list of characters, like, that I know how they're gonna perform every time they run these games. So for me, running that, I've already known like what they're gonna do, how they're gonna react, as far as I know, like, as the designer of the game, they're gonna go out there and do their best, and sometimes it's predictable, right? Because it's based on their character or characteristics of what they do as someone at the field, right? It's a lot of role play, and this isn't gonna work at a regular game. I can tell you that right now. You have 50 people there, not gonna work, not gonna work. I'm not gonna be able to moderate it, right? I'm gonna pick one trader or two traders out of like 50. Good luck, they're gonna die right away. Or two, no one's gonna pay attention, and it's just a slugfest, right?
Because what is it, like 20% must be like bad guys?
Yeah, something like that. So like 10, and then out of those 10, it's gonna be 2 players. So
It's just going to be absolute chaos and not the good kind.
yeah. So if you're ever wanting to do that side of gameplay, grab a bunch of friends, get 8 of you, 6 of you, 10 of you, right? And then play it on your own, preferably after 3 o'clock or something, because it's really busy here.
And get permission first. Don't just
Yes.
go and do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
that comes down to a lot of things when people just kind of help themselves to the field.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Actually, in the slower seasons, like in the winter time or something like that, like we've seen like games run like that in a public game because of the fact that like there would be like 20 people that come to Panther, like 30, and then half of them don't play. And then you got the perfect number, 10 or 15, right?
Well, yeah, I've seen Gavin do that with the drop-ins, and it worked out pretty well for him because he sets out drop-in rules. Because I know yours is discover guns,
Yep.
where his is enabled guns.
Yep.
So people have their own equipment, and only certain people can use it at a certain time.
And that's another one is the equipment that they use is basically my equipment. So for them, for you to do that with the public game, like you're gonna have absolute trust over a stranger using your gun, and also COVID. So watch
You're
out.
giving me trust issues. Oh my god.
Also, make sure that you get permission from a staff member, not another player, because we have had people say that they got permission from another player. That's
Yeah.
not
Yep.
permission. Talk to
Oh,
a staff
yeah.
member.
Yeah, and then the largest game that I've ever run is the Battle Royale one.
Oh, I love that video.
Yeah,
dude.
that is the largest. That is the entire field. That is the largest game I ever played. I actually had to use a radio, and I had to have another member admin with me as well. So with that in mind, like it's a daunting task. Again, 30% fun, 70% production. But actually, it felt like more like an 80% fun because everyone was having fun. It was like a new thing for our team to do it. Again, you're gonna have to put a lot of trust into everybody that's there. So you got Housegate, you got Tim, you got everybody in the meme team, like full on RPing, like role playing this out. Again, not gonna work with a public game because this is like you're putting absolute trust.
It's not the same level of play.
No.
It's not. It's just flat out it right there.
Yeah.
So from dropping games to that kind of game, and then progressing in from your TTT to like a goal-driven game, because
Yeah.
I mean, I guess all games are like objective or goal-driven and stuff like that, but now moving into more of like, a nuanced way of playing and stuff like that, especially like to migrate over to like what I know my brother's going to talk about, where it's like when you get down to scenario-based Milsim style game and everything like that. So
Yeah, and if you want to start off with, go ahead.
Well, it sort of more goes into just, the objective sort of changing. Like you said, there's always an objective, and when it comes to basic team deathmatch, the objective is to eliminate the other team, right? And then but you continuously respawn and all that stuff. So the whole point is to keep barraging them or whatever it is, depending on which team deathmatch that you do and stuff like that. There's also like more of like the life elimination one that everyone likes playing a lot, so that to me that's more of like a I don't know, like a search and destroy style, except you're not actually searching for something, it's like one life team deathmatch style, I guess that's how you would call it. And then like the scenario based games I really enjoy just because there's more role play factor into it and stuff like that. So you can kind of get into certain roles. You don't necessarily always have to shoot a BB to have fun kind of thing. And that's where, I like it a lot,
See, but you take that and apply it to a public game.
So when you apply it to a public game, it's really hard. So it's like you can't really do that level of complexity with like public drop-ins unless you have it in like a really controlled manner where it's like you have maybe 10 guys who are assisting on the whole game, so that the 10 guys are the one who are sort of driving the actual game and everyone else is kind of just picking up off the vibes and stuff like that. But just stuff like that is really hard when you're trying to rely on the public and stuff like that, because you're trying to rely on people to follow certain parameters. And that's kind of a lot to ask for.
That's where Omega Ops does very well.
Yeah.
So they do a 2-tier system where they have the milsim, but they have the drop-in concept. So those that want a gunfight are still involved in their event, and those that want the more milsim tactical, not shoot so much, but really be involved in the tactical side of things, they're involved just as much, right? And that's why they have their tier systems in their games. So they do very well at a multi-tier kind of event.
Yeah, tier 3, tier 2.
Yeah, and there's a huge kit restriction when you're moving up to the different tiers too, as well. Yeah. Like you're not using high caps, you're using mid caps, and then you're only bringing certain ammo, like
or even cap restrictions where you're only allowed to bring either one high cap and 4 mid caps kind of thing, either or like exactly.
They don't allow high caps.
They don't allow high caps at all. Yeah. Yep. Imagine trying to do that on a public game.
Well, no, so I'm just
imagine
saying,
trying to check everybody for that, right?
I'm just saying like in general, right?
You get
like,
one game off.
Yeah. It'll last 5 minutes.
And I've used that same concept when I make games. The idea is you can have those that want a gunfight and those that want to capture the objective.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to do it together, especially in conquest games, but the problem you have very quickly is those that want the gunfight will get bored when they realize that they can do gunfights all day long, but unless they do something else, they're just going to be stuck in the same spot.
Yeah.
And that's why conquest works very well, because it's like you can have your gunfight, you complete the objective guys are happy, the gunfighter guys are happy, they end up with a new field they're playing in the same game.
Yeah,
and
then
the
you
objective
move on.
guys are like, we completed that objective, let's move on.
And, and it keeps rolling too,
Exactly,
because
and
it's not just a deadlock in the center.
Yeah, and with the fallback rule is where you get 30 seconds to fall back or you have to die, pretty much battlefield rules.
I like that one. Yeah.
It's a fun game to run. It's also really annoying to run, mainly because I didn't have my megaphone until last week. But now I have that. It's very easy to run it again, and I have to keep tweaking the rules because it used to be something to do with a flag, and you can't be touching stuff right now.
Yeah.
Because now it's just a
Get bodies in
there.
yeah, and now it's a matter of like last time I did it, I did 2 VIPs that had to be eliminated. Problem is they kept hiding, so for those that witnessed this, last time I did this game, I told the VIPs to go get themselves shot, so the game keeps playing. Because people that become the VIP and they're hiding right at the back of the map, and I'm like, well, how's this fun at this point? The point is, you're just supposed to be a high-value target. You're not supposed to be like hiding.
Impossible to kill.
Well,
Yeah.
my favorite ones is when you make the bush Wookiee the VIP, and then so he goes and finds a bush way off, completely away from everyone else, and then everyone's wondering, why the game's still going on. I always love those situations. No, like to me, I would pick someone like, either like the Hawaiian shirt guy or like, a little kid or something like that. Someone who's going to like want to get in the fray, you know what I
But
mean?
it doesn't matter who I pick. It's always the same problem.
Yeah.
People hide because they think their team's going to be let down if they die. And I'm like, that's not how the game's supposed to run in this particular one. So that's why I keep tweaking it. Now it's moved on to, you have to, like pretty much at this point, it's going to be a pie plate. You shoot the pie plate gets hit, I can see a BB hole through it, then I know that the objective is taken.
Oh, that's easy. That's like, yeah.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden you come down to the problem when you got $3,000 airsoft guns looking ding it from across the field, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So what I did with that is, like with the mines, I put it in the tunnel.
Hey, come on. We warned everyone. This is a pay-to-win sport, okay? There's no free-to-play in Airsoft.
He's got a point.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
He's got a point.
Yeah, exactly.
We spent a lot of money here. So.
Yeah.
This is an underlying message to those out there.
Exactly. I know. I'm sorry, guys, if you don't have the funds for it. Like,
If you only have a pistol.
yeah. Well, you know, it's like, but that's the whole thing, right? Is we come down to the factor of like these drop-in games are to cater to the masses and stuff. So when you have like underlying problems or recurring problems, like, you know, they're definitely some of the things that come up a lot, right? So spawn camping is definitely a big thing that it gets complained about a lot and stuff like that, but then it comes down to the same factor. Like, you know, so like I will have empathy for you, but I'm not going to at the same time, because if you're complaining to me about spawn camping, and that just either tells me, one, you don't know how to play very well, or two, the people that you have on your team are not moving effectively like a unit. Because there have been tons of times where I have been out there playing and my team starts to get spawn camped. You know what I do? I take 3 guys that I trust, we move out, we clear the problem, and then we keep moving. I don't sit there and complain about it. I don't go call the ref and ask him to do an airstrike. I take the problem into my own hands, and then I go and shoot the crap out of the guys that decided to be spawn camping. And a lot of the times too, they're regulars, and I know what those guys are doing. They're the shoot 'em up, stacking bodies. That's all they're here to do, is they want to get kill counts and everything like that. That's fine. Go ahead. But don't ask me why I shot you 6 times when you've been shooting into spawn for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that.
It's funny. You can put a poll out to people on these games feature and ask who wants to play team deathmatch, where you can just shoot them up all day, and who wants to play objectives. Everyone will join the objective. Nobody will play shoot them up, and then people will stop playing the objective and go shoot up the spawn. So it's like the easy solution there is anyone who starts shooting the spawn, you take them out of objective games. They can only play the shoot 'em up games after that.
Don't we have polls at the very beginning of some of these games and
Oh, we do.
asking people, and then like our referees will just literally build something if it's an objective
Yeah,
one?
within 5 minutes, they can
Yeah.
build something while they get a poll from people.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, it definitely gets tough because, you know, a lot of people were looking from the outside in and stuff like that, and it's really easy to sit back, watch the referees kind of stand around, and then they think they're doing nothing when I'm watching to make sure that you have your iPro on. I'm watching to make sure that people are respecting their MEDs. You know, there's tons of things that they're watching, and then the gameplay definitely does come second to that because safety is paramount here. And when it comes to gameplay too, obviously the gameplay is important, but like Elliot and I have both stated, it comes down to you as the player and as your team. And obviously there's going to be times where, you know, where there is a factor that we need to roll in there or something like that and mitigate something that's going on and everything. But again, you know, I like, you know, I'm going to help try to avoid that problem. But again, if that is becoming a problem, it's definitely not something that you come and cry to a referee about. It's something that you should be able to.
That's one thing that's hard to distinguish, is taking someone's like positive or like constructive criticism versus someone just ranting and complaining, because it's like spawn camping. We've already sort of eliminated the fact that, like, yeah, it could be team, you not moving out of spawn, or, you know, other sorts of factor, but we can't blame it on the ref.
Yeah, well, I'd like to highlight that we do keep, you know, an eye out for it. It's like it's not that we can't, you know, it's not that we don't see it happening. We do see it happening, but sometimes, you know, we can't always just go in there and just be like, okay, all of you guys have to leave because they pushed up to a certain point successfully, mind you. I've seen it happen, right? Now, those guys could, you know, take personal onus on themselves and go back 50 feet, you know, if they wanted to. But again, you know, there's nothing stopping them from really pushing up. You know, you'd like them to push the objective, but they felt the need to flank, and now they're sitting there, right? So, but it's like you were saying too, though, Mac, about corralling guys. It's exactly what I would do. It's, you know, if it's one guy sitting there spawn camping you, grab 4 guys. You know, he can't shoot all 4 of you all at once. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, put some strategy.
Go deal with the problem.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, you know, seriously, like, I mean,
Yeah, and I've heard many complaints about like players come in there and be like, a referee will come in and be like, you guys are spawn camping, can you please stop? And then the player will go, well, that's their problem, or, well, that's your problem because you put the spawn there, you know. And then there's a big fight after that in between, and I'm like, come on, Like,
Well,
Well,
my
that point-
answer to that
well, no,
player
so
is
at-
just
at
like,
the-
hey, you need to listen because we want people to keep playing. If you want half these people to leave next game and then you have no one to play with for the rest of the day, so be it then. You can go play by yourself in the corner or something.
I
'Cause,
want
like,
someone to talk back to me like they just said
Yeah,
that.
like-
Someone's actually said that to you like that?
No, they say it to the underage kids.
Yeah, they say it to you. Yeah,
See,
they
because
say
they're
it
too
to
scared
them.
to say it to me. Because
Yeah.
if they say it to me, I'm just going to tell them to take off the field.
Well, that's one of the big problems here is people will just go
Think
and
they can
shit
walk
on a kid.
Yeah, they walk over an underage kid.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
That's why I'm
ageism
trying to
is a
be
real
out there
thing.
more. I am trying to be out there more. So.
Yeah.
But it's a sad reality is that like, oh, it's just a kid, I can do what I want. And it's
Yeah.
like these kids are trying their
I'm some
best to make you a game.
I'm some 40-year-old man, and I'm going to yell at this 16-year-old kid for
Yeah.
not refereeing
Look,
this
some of these
game.
kids are only 14 years old.
I know, man. I know.
Some of them are younger than their own kids.
Yeah.
And I'm going to berate this child because I didn't have a good time at Airsoft.
It's like, yeah, you make your own fun. Like, instead of being miserable, how about you enjoy the game? If you're like, this wasn't fun for me, you can creatively come up with a solution. And this is part of what we're talking about today. How to make a solution is, oh, well, I didn't like the game. Okay, you got a better way to run that game? Please let us know.
Yeah,
Yep.
'cause,
And
like,
feedbacks are like the biggest thing that we need, not just like rants or like complaints, right? We'll listen to complaints, but
well, I'm going
feedbacks.
to hear you, but
and-
that doesn't mean I'm listening.
yeah, we want feedbacks and we want solutions, right? Because like all we hear is complaints all the time, and that's not good. I could give you a story from what happened from Prairie Dog's perspective. He was having a bad time, yes, because my team was pushing it, right? But on my side, everyone was having fun. So two different sides of the story, right? But the complaint gets heard louder than
The positive.
the
yeah.
positive, right? I can tell you, I was having a fun time. The kid that I was taking care of was having a fun time. I even saw him on his video getting hit. Like the kid hit, like, sorry, Prairie Dog hitting the kid, and I'm like, oh, poor kid. Like that's how he got killed. But like, at the end, he was still having fun, right?
One team always has to lose.
Yeah.
Well,
there's
exactly.
it's again, it's one of those things where it's airsoft. You're right. One team has to lose. One team has to win.
I think that's
right?
sports in general. Paul.
Yeah.
There's going to be sore losers out there no matter what. So what the best thing we can do is just, try and give
Well,
them
and it's also hard to see it from one defeat because like no one game is the same, no one day is the same. If if we had sort of like a groundhog scenario, right, and the same situation occurred from every single time with the same factors and variables, then yeah, something needs to be looked into. But like every day is different, every game is different.
Yeah, but you also get complaints from players saying that every game is the same every weekend.
Well, my answer to them to that is that your playstyle needs to change. I'm sorry. I see a lot of guys out there who do the same thing over and over again, and that's called insanity. Trying to expect a different outcome by doing the same thing over and over again.
Are you telling me that flanking and shooting people and not playing the objective is the wrong way to play Airsoft? I am shocked.
No, I mean running in solo, expecting that you can take on the whole entire team, and that that play style needs to kind of cut out. I want to see more of the organized gameplay that I'm starting to see happen a little more now. This past summer.
But one of the issues I've been having is these people, they will play by themselves, right? And the staff have a mandate. They're not to run the same 2 games per day, right? So it's like, oh, we had the same game every time. We didn't, though. It's just, like you said, they're playing the same play style. Because every game has to be different. Except the CQB games at the end of the day, they all have to run different games. When they do their game, their talk before they start the game, they ask each other, okay, what field have you used today and what game mode did you do on it, so they don't repeat themselves. They're never running the same game twice.
So what people must get misunderstood then is it's the same map, different game mode.
Yeah, so if we're giving you a massive play area and you have to be using the same player because it's massive, that's one.
Exactly. A lot of you guys must play video games. There's tons of that. You can have the same game.
field,
Yeah.
same different weekend.
Yeah, it's like they must do that on Call of Duty, I'm sure, right? Like you can play free for all, whatever those other games are. You know,
go back to
Infected.
Modern Warfare 2. I could play Terminal.
Yeah, but
How many people have said that they're only playing the same map over and over again on Warzone, right? Like, yes, it's the same map, but it's a big map.
Are they not? Am I not mistaken that most of those battle royale games are the same
Map over
damn
and
map?
over, but you can land anywhere in that map and have a different game.
But it's the same damn map.
Yeah, it's the same damn play style.
same
That's
if,
why it's a
if,
problem.
if you play with the same players and you get used to the same thing, you drop at the same location because you know it works, you're pretty much doing the same thing and it gets boring.
So what you're saying is
but
change servers.
Do we do we blame Call of Duty because we landed in the same spot every time?
no, you it's your play style. You got used to running the same route over and over again,
And
right?
here I am thinking we're still landing in Pochinki.
Yeah.
I want you to know that I did not get the kill count that I wanted, so that is Panther's fault.
Again, I'll put perspective into this story that we're talking about. We were playing. What were we playing? We were
Capture
playing
cabins.
Capture the
Capture old
cabins.
cabin.
Yeah.
Capture old cabin.
So, me, Gavin, because Gavin was day off, was Sunday, and then like the meme team basically, and then I took this kid. We took the wider flank towards the not so played area, which is basically swamp.
Yes, I was just gonna say yeah.
Yeah, swamp HQ all the way to the back, right?
Far East Coast.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is, of course, you're gonna get the guys that are super good at playing the game there, really camoed, and as well as they know that area pretty well. So they're doing the same thing. They're like, we're gonna go here because we want to
There's
challenge.
gonna be that one person that comes out, that one bush Wookie that loves hiding there. You know who you are.
Yeah. No, we got the guys on multicam, and that's that one team. So, so I'm not playing the same thing, just rushing in there and slugging it out, right? I'm like, I'll take this kid towards like a more like tactical route, right? Because he's new, whatever. He's
him the
already seen running towards the cabin,
Give
right?
him
I'm
the
like,
Panther experience.
yeah, let's go this way. We're probably gonna hit someone that's really good, so let's do it. And then of course we did, right? And then it was a different style of gameplay because you're basically like, you're like playing Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you're like, they're in a tree, right? And then you just see BBs flying, and you're like, you have no idea where it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
But I told the kid, like, go crawl. They're not gonna see you. And then I crawled, and then he crawled, and then he basically got to the front. And then the kid was fearless, right? But for me, like that's the thing is like if I want something different in the same map, I'll try a different route, right? You could go
Exactly,
down
try something
ravine.
different.
You know, some of these teams that have been here forever, like Marauders, the pro teams that are here, right? They'll take different routes, not just the regular face-on open
exactly.
route. Like if you take the surface route, which is basically just like open trees, open terrain, not a lot of cover, not fun. You're just getting shot from random locations. Well, then again, if you take like ravine, which is a lot of vegetation, or
It's
like
also a very big
swamp,
choke point. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, if you go down swamp or you take down all these different routes, yeah, you're gonna have a far different experience from just taking the regular route.
Well, speaking of what you're saying about regular routes and stuff like that, that's kind of what I've started doing this past year anyways. I've started trying to take different routes.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed, and my favorite ones to do, is when we do like the trenches games, where everyone's always going around the far flanks. Everyone's going all round. So imagine sort of like a diamond or something like that, right? Everyone's going around. I've taken it a couple times to where I'll just walk through the center through and just take a couple tree covers here and there like that, and I'm literally walking and I'm pegging people because they're not even focusing on the center, and it's just because everyone's decided that these are the tried and true paths, and so that's where they always go, but they don't think about that you're still open to attack right in the center there.
Yeah, and for referees to make these games, right, and opening it up to the field, right, if I hear players complaining about, oh, it's the same damn thing, like, why are you not taking a different route? Like it's open to you. The ref is not responsible for, changing, where you go and stuff, where you dictate to go. Yeah, he'll put an objective.
Or let's go see an objective. You know what I don't
Yeah.
see ever on YouTube gameplay is you go capture an objective. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not as as like ad friendly, or people want to watch you like shoot bodies, or I'm sorry, you want to go and hold the cabin.
You mean
for 5 minutes.
airsoft cheaters?
Oh yeah, God, man.
So
not good.
Look,
that.
I'm just saying, all like airsoft gameplay people, you guys out there making the videos, you guys all do the same stuff.
Kill
all
count.
do the same stuff.
Kill count.
That's all it is.
Kill count.
You guys
Kill
all, You're
cam.
the reason that it's all team deathmatch. That's it.
Yeah, like you're
I
taking.
can tell you now that's not like they have no factor on our games. I could, if someone told me I want this game so I can make a YouTube video, they can shove their camera up their ass.
No, 100. No, I get that. I'm just saying that these content creators out there, some of the people that are out there voicing their opinions just because they're on the social
They're pushing
media
the public
platform.
opinion or sort of the public
Yeah, fuck you,
perspective
Barry
on
Dog.
Oh, we love you, Jamie.
Don't worry, he knew he was going to get heated for this.
But yeah, we've been talking about all this, but we haven't actually once talked about the actual core of making games. We've said the trifecta.
Yep.
We need to
Yeah,
actually-
the
We need to
variables
break it down because that way people can make their own games.
Actually, yeah, we spent probably a good 40 minutes explaining like
All the drama
what
that
if
comes
and
with
what, yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to run a game.
So
yeah.
Elliot, why did you pick size, location, and was it time?
It's location, time, and objective.
Okay.
Okay.
Why did you pick those?
Yeah,
So
why did you pick those
location,
three?
number one, you need to decide your game boundaries. You need to know where people can and can't be in your game, so that way the other two can play off that. Time, you need to know how long people will be playing in that game for. The reason for that is you don't want something that's going to be a 5-minute game, but the objective will then be half an hour. So once you decide your time, then you build an objective into that time in that location. So say we want to have a defense of the city game. So we've decided the location. Now time, we're going to do half an hour in that game. So we have our time. Objective is defense. We must now hold that objective for 30 minutes. Or if you decided you must only hold it for the first 10 minutes, and then you're good to spread out and eliminate, you've only got a 10-minute objective that fits in the half an hour time frame. They're the three that you need, the three core of a game. Everything else will come after that. Your amount of teams, your amount of people in each team, all of that all plays off those three factors. Without those three factors, you can't make a game.
And that also accounts to the respawns as well. Sometimes when you do defense games, one team will have a lot more
Yeah, like the game
respawns.
I just designed there, right? Like we've been playing it before, is you can have one spawn, you can have two spawn, you have unlimited spawn. The spawns are a second variable that comes in after the fact because any amount of spawns will work in that game. And that's something you want to work into it is, can the game survive the test of having variables put in it? Because if you add another variable, will your game survive? If not, the game can't be run. So the easiest way to explain it is when someone's trying to make a game, if you're trying to make your own game, try break your own game.
And you've placed a lot of people in making games. Like, why did they fail so badly?
So people design games a lot of the time that have failed, and House Gamers is one of them.
Yep, I remember this.
They build the game for their own fun, not the fun of the group. So his game was designed to what he would have fun doing, not what everyone would have fun doing.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Juggernaut.
No, it's one versus him versus.
It was something like snipers versus everyone. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, something
so
like
it's
that.
like for him it was fun because he hides in a bush and he snipes people. Everyone else was like, okay, we're playing hide and seek.
Yep.
So it really doesn't become fun for the larger group, and that's the big variable for making a game. Is everybody going to have fun?
You're talking about balance at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, or are you just going to have fun because that's what you wanted to do? You wish that Call of Duty game was in real life. Call of Duty games don't always work.
Like, we do try and have our game, like, they are similar to the video games and everything.
We can make some, yes.
Exactly,
But
but-
again, you have to factor in, will people have fun?
Yeah, well, we're trying to make sure everybody has fun.
And we do listen. We did do that gulag style after
I
City
liked
game.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we've
we
run
did-
it a few times now.
Yeah,
To
we
work,
do
we've-
listen.
We've had to add twists on it because the Call of Duty concept doesn't work for it, where it's just one life, it takes too long. And we, again, had a staff member break the game. It was Mason, and he had fun breaking the game.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is if we can break the game, if someone comes up with a game concept and you want me to do the try test of it, bring me the game, I'll tell you how I can break it within 30 seconds.
I think that is how you test a game. You got to break it first.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking in the game break it. I can just, they say they had it written down on paper.
Yep.
I can give them something that will break that game. And all it takes is me explaining what one customer has to do to make nobody have fun. And if I can't break your game, you made a good game.
So you're saying we should break your game somehow.
Yes, if someone hears a game design and they explain how they can break my game, sure. Of course, there is that problem of if you're breaking the game by breaking the rules, you're not breaking the game, you're breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference.
You have to be able to break the game without breaking the rules.
There you go.
I think another thing we can elaborate on is spawns, is like exactly where the spawns are. You want to make sure that they're not too close together or at a bad angle that one team is going to have an advantage over another.
Yeah, one too close to an objective.
Yeah.
So they have to be balanced spawns.
Yeah. So there are games that do fall under that balanced spawn where one team is closer to objective versus another team.
Well, yeah, sometimes we intentionally break spawns, right?
Yeah.
So it's like one team has a better spawn, but worse respawn regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
can
we
be-
try to make it fair by doing the handicaps. I definitely see that, and I think that's something that some players don't necessarily experience. Like for instance, if you're the opposing team, you're not going to feel that handicap, right? So even if, let's say, another opposing team has that handicap placed on them, but they're still successfully, fighting against that handicap, I'm sure that player who's on that team that isn't handicapped won't know the difference, and they'll probably still cry that they're losing. So definitely, it's like it's going to happen no matter what kind of thing, right? So you can only do so much, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it's tricky sometimes too when there's private groups taking up some fields, because then the ref has to put more thought into where the spawns are going to be, because some spawns might not be available. So just trying to work through that.
And I find that it's really hard too when some of the private groups aren't very clear with their boundaries, because that's something that I've noticed that happens, especially on busy days, because mind you, yes, Panther's very, very big, but once you start having lots of groups show up,
Once you
then
cut it up into pieces.
it gets really hard, and then the killing lanes start getting more complicated. Then suddenly, you see Bob playing from the other group, and you're wondering why Bob's all the way in your play zone, but really you're in Bob's
my
play
private
zone.
groups
Hi, Bob.
do stay in their boundaries. It's our drop-ins that go into their boundaries. That's
Well,
the
and
complaint
is
I
true.
get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess like on that front, let's say that drop-in's not a regular drop-in.
It's kind of a free pass, we get it, right?
Yeah,
But
so
at the
like-
same time, it's like,
But most of the time, it's not the one-offs that are breaking the
No,
rules.
and that's true.
It's
and,
the
and-
regulars.
And if it's the regulars, that's
See,
on them.
if they
but-
didn't tell you that you couldn't cross the river to get to the other side.
That means I can cross the river, man.
Yeah.
That clearly means I can cross the river.
I'm gonna use that because I've done that a few times. I'm sorry,
Implied
Elliot.
rules. Yeah, no, definitely.
Boy.
That's something that I don't like
Bad
that
boy.
certain players push is that
Yeah.
they'll sit there. To me, it's like a dog waiting for a treat. You know what I mean? They'll sit there. I see them at game speech. They're wagging their tail, waiting for the game speech to be done. And once the game speech is done, and they didn't hear that one rule that they were looking for, that they specifically didn't hear said. So they get a free pass, and then instantly.
And these
they're
are
going-
seasoned players we're talking about.
Well, and that's why I give the dog wagging analogy, because you're literally sitting there. They know what they're looking for. They know what they want. They know what they have to do to get it. As long as they keep their mouth shut, they don't remind the ref, oh, he didn't say it. That's their fallback.
Full auto in buildings.
Oh, exactly.
Like you got to use common sense. Like
Yeah.
don't be trying to nitpick those things.
It's
like,
acquired
Right.
knowledge.
He didn't say no full auto in buildings this game. So I'm allowed, right? And he said
free
it in-
game.
You know what I mean? He said it at
It's
the
a
beginning.
field
of-
rule, but he didn't say it for this game. So
Like don't be playing games. We're playing Airsoft. Don't be playing other games.
It's hard enough playing airsoft.
Level of maturity for some of these guys,
oh,
right?
don't even bring that up. You got 40-year-old guys out here LARPing.
Use common sense,
I
please.
feel attacked. I'm not 40, but I do feel attacked.
Look, I'm LARPing too. I'm just 26. I'm gonna get there.
Play to win. Let's go.
Exactly. I mean, like everyone's got what what they're aiming for and stuff like that. And again, that comes down to like what kind of style of player you are, right? Because again, we're gonna have the guys that are out there that want to play the game. We have the guys out there that are just out there to have fun, play around with their friends. They don't really care what's going on. Then you got the guys that are out there that are just slinging plastic, want to stack bodies, and trying to get good content for whatever film YouTube channel that they got.
is it failed YouTube channel?
I didn't say that.
I wouldn't say failed.
I didn't say failed.
So okay, so Elliot, so
I say failed?
your three choices were the size, location, and time.
Objective.
Location. Time,
and
objective.
objective. So then, Mac, what are your three?
Just can't get it, can they?
I said it's like
Well, so this is like in
for
the
me, it's
in
numbers.
building a game. If you
Yeah,
were to
so-
design a game, right?
so for me it's numbers, location, and game mode.
And why those ones?
So again, I need to know how many players that I have to be able to dictate what kind of game that I can even run, because again, I'm not going to run some it's just going to dictate to me on what game selection that you can make from that, right? So if I've got 20 people and I can play a 10-on-10 team deathmatch, then all right, that's pretty easy enough. We can do it, right?
So city.
Exactly, and that'll dictate on what
Well, city's an
map
ideal map for that style
smaller,
of gameplay.
yeah, the smaller gameplay.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, so then it comes down to, so what numbers do I have? Okay, so now we need to find a field that's accommodating to that size of people, and then okay, what kind of field do we have available to us? Okay, so now what can we play in that field? That's how I set up a game, or that's how Elliot's let me run a few of them and stuff. So I haven't been yelled at yet for running a game. So again,
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, I might just yell at you now just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
go ahead. I mean, I'm not perfect. So obviously, if there's things that I'm screwing up on or anything like that, I'm human. Let me know. But
Feedback is always the greatest.
yeah, like I try and stay on top of things. Like one of my biggest things that I always notice too is respawn. A lot of people don't actually respawn. They'll just walk back, wait 10 seconds, and be like, well, I could have gotten there, and then they'll jump back in the game. And sorry, in my eyes, you're trash.
Well, that's the
Walk
thing.
back to respawn.
The walk back to respawn has more than just walking back. It's an attrition thing.
Mm-hmm.
It tires out the person that died, so they're not quick on the response. That's
Oh,
all they're
100%,
doing. They're
100%.
conserving their energy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but that was the point, is you have to be out of energy because you had to do the long walk back.
So
What
the
I-
secret to airsoft is being fit.
But that's a secret to any sport.
I feel like I've already called people out on that. So,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, work on your fitness. And the thing so one thing I liked that I added into on a couple games, like I think it was a few months back too, was respawning in twos.
Yeah, the double spawns.
Yeah, so that really adds to the whole level of teamwork and everything like that, and planning strategy.
I
Just
like
because,
that.
yeah, because it just added a little twist on it. Because basically, you showed up to respawn alone. Guess what? You don't get to just jump back in the game. You
Wait,
gotta
wait
wait
for a buddy,
partner. You
right?
gotta
Yeah.
wait for a buddy. Yeah.
Tack, didn't you build on that and you did like a 5-person spawn?
Well, so yeah, I had sort of like a squad mentality on that kind
So
of
it's
thing.
a wave spawns. Yeah.
Exactly. Like my whole aim of that sort of like rule set was to create sort of like a wave kind of factor, where if you have multiple groups getting slain and stuff like that, they'd have to wait, kind of thing. Same aspect of doing the double.
It gives
spawns
the
and
other
stuff
team
like
a
that.
chance to push up.
Exactly, and also gives the I guess losing team in that sense a chance to sort of
A better
reorganize
advantage,
and stuff like that. And also, when you get together as groups and stuff like that, you're all dead, so you can kind of talk to each other and stuff like that. It also helps to prevent sort of like the dead men talking. Like I know it happens by accident. I've seen it happen. Sometimes even the most seasoned guys let it slip every once in a while. But that's another way to help cut that down too, because they're all dead. They're all together. They're all talking. They can go ahead and talk about whatever it is because they're dead. I guess for you, Poi, what are the 3 main factors for you when you make a game?
I'm gonna skip the public games because I have I have experience in one, but not like large as like what you guys run. Because for me, when I run a private game, that is, I'll use the example when I do the gas blowback games. I design it on the fact that the guns are, I wouldn't say handicap, but they are like, real ammo counts,
I would
limited.
like to use the term organic. Because that's how
I
I
guess,
felt
yeah.
when I played at your that specific event. Anyway, it's
Yep.
like I felt like it was very organic.
Or is it mechanic? Like, the best way to describe it is mechanical.
Yeah, it's
Electric
very
versus mechanical.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
mechanical.
either way, I built the game sort of like I was thinking like when I was running that game, I'm like, okay, I needed to do something cool. I wanted to do CS GO, right?
Okay.
Like
Gross.
the demolition game, right?
Am I that old that I keep thinking 1.6 all the time, and like that's what my baseline is?
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Me too.
You're pretty old.
Yeah.
like that hurts.
So when I run that game, I'm gonna go with size matters for me because I'm not gonna run more than 20 or like.
Size always matters.
Whoa.
You said it.
I guess.
So continue, size queen.
Yeah. So
Max size
numbers of the
matters.
game. How much people do I have running the game? So 30 is the max I'll run, right? So that's 15 by 15, right? And then location is going to be city, of course, because it's much easier to move around in a small space like that, especially in CQB. For complexity, it's a bomb game, basically. I run it, so I have a little bomb with a timer on it, right? The timer runs for 5 minutes once you plant it, right? And then it beeps when it's done, right? I have one guy that's a diffuser, right? So they got to keep him alive. So not only does the terrorist have to plant the bomb, right, but they got to watch out for the diffuser, who is allowed to defuse it because he would just press the button. So that's how my game runs. You basically have two VIPs, one the planter and then one, the diffuser, right? And they would have to pick up the diffuser kit just to defuse it, right?
Classic CS.
Yeah. On top of that, I've also this is just a little bit of add-on, right? There's no role play in this, unlike my other games, but this one has me keeping track of KD, kill, death, and then I put it in a ratio, and then as well as who has points. So that's a little bit of an added value to the players. When they look at it, they're like, oh, it actually counts. When I kill someone, right, your team gets a point, and then as that tallies up, right, how many kills you got, you defuse a bomb or you planted a bomb and then it blows up, right, that adds to the end of the day.
You don't have to because I remember from playing it, it's we quickly realized we don't always have to go for the bomb. We can just shoot and eliminate them. If we can do that twice, that's worth at least one bomb defuse if we need to catch up and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for me, when I'm looking at games that I run personally, I want added value, right? I don't just look at it and be like, all right, go kill yourself, right? And play, right?
I mean, you should have that in there, but yes.
Yes. Yeah, that is part of the game, but role play is part, big one. I want people to have fun, but also because I didn't have role play element on that. I mean, there is, you still have the diffuser and you still have the bomb planter, right? That's a little bit of role play there. But I wanted a little bit of that value. So for me, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, what can I add value to this? I start recording people's KD ratio and as well as who's doing well in the team. And then by the end of it, right, you probably felt that when I gave everybody their special awards, first place, second place, third place, who has the most points in the team, who has the most, who has the highest KD, who has the highest kills, who has the most deaths, right, who died the most, right? It adds a little bit to the game, right? And that's why I love running smaller games, because of the fact that I could sort of customize it and as well as personalize it some more, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work on bigger games because it's harder to track people like that, right? Stats tracking like that is it's very difficult, especially in an honor-based system, right? If I could see it, I could record it right away.
Exactly.
Right? So that's how I run my games. If it's a big milsim game, then I would rely solely on command and control structure at that point. It's up to the players to decide on that. So if you're running a milsim like that, it's basically up to the players to decide on that, and they have to follow the command and control structure. So you have a platoon leader to his sergeant to his squads, and then to the players that are underneath it. I would just put in a objective at the end of it, which is basically you need to capture the city or something, right? The other team has to hold it, something like that. But it's in a grand scheme of things, it's going to be big. So that's at least 100 people, right? And I like leading one side. So for me, I've led one side before, but as far as admin concerns for it, they're basically just looking at location, time, which is basically at least 4 hours, right, for a milsim like that. And then complexity, you leave it up to the players to deal with it using their command and control structure, right? An admin does not have to jump in on these games because you're letting, the leaders of the group deal with it from there. All you have to do is just set an objective and let them have it. And that's basically how my thought process in games. So one for private and one for milsim. Unfortunately, I don't do the regular games because I just have no experience. I'll leave it up to Elliot and you guys to do it. So that's my thought process on it.
Okay, well, Laura, what's your ways to make a game?
Well, when I design a game, I like to think of a creative idea. I usually start with an idea and then go from there. A while back, I really wanted to do a pirate game. So what I decided to do was I collaborated with the refs, and we have a mine here, and so we decided the mine was the pirate cave. And so we had pirates defending the pirate cave. They had a treasure chest that they had to...
The booty?
Yes, it was. So we called it.
that.
Yeah,
This is a good game.
it was fun.
Yeah, it was.
And so we had another team of pirates that was attacking the pirate cave to get the treasure chest. And Mason was playing Pirates Caribbean music. We were all saying R as we went towards it. It was really fun.
So yours is maximizing towards a lot of the role play aspect and as well as the theme.
I like themed games.
There you go.
Okay.
And there was another time we wanted to do a game for Christmas, so I came up with this idea that Paul had a Santa outfit, so he was Santa, of course.
Oh.
And we had some presents, so we decided to wrap some boxes.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and so the whole goal was to like get as many presents back to your base as possible. And the twist was that there was actually presents inside, so the team that got the most got more presents.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was fun.
I played that game. I have that on my
Did he
Instagram.
not also have a minigun that you had to
I
Yes.
think he did. He was
Yes.
Santa with the minigun
Yeah, so there
because
was,
why not?
yeah.
And the wrapping paper was frozen wrapping paper, if you guys can't remember, because
See,
it's
so
got to have
getting
some
those
Anna and
presents
Elsa.
wasn't going to be easy.
Else.
Let it go.
No.
But yeah, that's pretty much how I like to design games. It's just something fun, creative, not too complex. People are going to get confused, but just something different. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated.
and I like theme-based games. Like you think of something and then you make it out of theme, right? Like I remember one game where it was just like it was a one video. It was like when 13 hours, 12 hours in Benghazi came out, and then my entire like old team back then, we dressed up as contractors and we dressed up for the event. Or not, it wasn't even an event. It was just us literally memeing that movie, and then we all dressed up as contractors, and
That's
then
pretty funny.
and then we just spewed out lines from the movie.
Of course,
like,
meme
if-
soft.
Yeah, literally.
Directly from yours truly, the meme team.
Yeah. Actually, it's from Walking Dead Airsoft. That was a long time ago, though.
The inception of the meme team.
But yeah, I like gameplays like that Laura suggested there. It's just more unique. It's out of the box, different, right? When people make games, they're so stuck, so pigeonholed to one thing. Team deathmatch,
team deathmatch.
capture the flag.
Yeah.
You know, king of the hill,
So
right?
I like to start with an idea first, and then I decide what the game mode is going to be, where the spawns are going to be, but it's kind of all based around that first idea.
Yeah,
What about you, Elliot?
I was the first one.
he was the first one.
Oh, you already won. I forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry, my attention span is really short. I'm surprised I've
just
lasted this long.
She doesn't listen to me.
I don't.
What, Tack, what's your design?
Oh, well, I don't know. For me, I guess I don't make too many public games, unless people kind of ask me ideas and stuff like that. But
Nobody cares about your ideas.
but like when designing
You hear
public
this guy
games,
commenting over
I
from the peanut
usually
gallery?
think about size, location, and time mostly. Like just because when it comes to dropping games. Unfortunately, objective's not played most of the time, so I always like kind of trying to play it around like which map it's going to be at, and then sort of designating a time factor. Just because to me, adding a time factor really sort of adds that needed pressure to for people to play the game. I know that.
Helps with fluidity.
Yeah, well, I won't lie. The most you'll see BB slung is usually in the last 5 to 10 seconds of an airsoft game. Just
Really
because.
want that guy to call his head.
Yeah, just because everyone's just slinging everything at all they got at nothing usually. But just location, just because you can kind of dictate the objective, based off of that. So that kind of comes in hand. And then I like putting the time in, just because you have that pressure. And then just like with the size, it helps you to sort of dictate which location you're going to put it at. Like Poi was saying too, and like you guys were saying, when you have a small group of people, sometimes you have that added opportunity to be able to play some of those mini games, and then you can choose a certain map and stuff like that. But on some of those days where we have like 150 people, kind of thing, or we have a full lineup at Panther and stuff like that, that sort of in and of itself predictates what maps you're going to play, just because you're already at that capacity, and you can't really just be like, all right, 150 people in city. Like you can. It's possible. I don't think it's going to be fun, though.
We should try it.
If you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
Exactly, yeah. So when it comes to that, I just look at more of just
Yes.
getting games moving, being able to pick easy locations and stuff like that for the public games and stuff. When it comes to private games, I sort of pick more of like the location, complexity, and sort of role play aspect. Just because I like adding a little more flair to the private games. It's easier to sort of control in a private game aspect, so you can kind of put up more stringent rules. most likely people are coming to you to those kinds of games. It's not that you're coming to people, so you have a better pick when it comes to sort of like the people who are coming to play at those kinds of things. A lot of the time you'll have people who want to play those kinds of things show up, so then that in itself already creates a better sort of pool for you to sort of start from. I like roleplay in private games just because, you know, it adds that little flair. You have those little memories that you can build off of with people and stuff like that. And then when it comes to Milsim, I'm kind of with Poi. You know, it's directly when you're playing Milsim stuff, it's command structure 100% of the time. Like I wouldn't even pick other factors really when it comes to Milsim games. It's like definitely like location's already dictated on itself from the get-go with those events. So Milsim gameplay really comes down to definitely the command structure, just because if you have a good command structure or if you have an organized command structure, then everything else kind of falls in on itself when it comes to Milsim gameplay, at least in my opinion. Because you can't really have the one thing because everything else is already laid out, right? The location's already been picked out, right? The player base has already been sort of signed up and stuff like that. So if you don't have a good command structure, that's where it all sort of falls apart.
Yep. I think that's everybody's opinions there on creating a game. Bottom line, what do you guys think is like the most essential for you? For me, it's like keeping it fun. Like that's number one priority for me when I'm making games. I don't want to make it too complex that people just rage quit. Mm-hmm. And I'm speaking directly as, you know, what my games are, right? It's always 100% fun. I always build it on a group of friends, right? I usually don't build it to strangers. I also keep it balanced too, right? Yes, I do cater to the YouTubers, right? Because of the fact that, you know, my team, you know, has Dayton, you know, has Josh and all these guys that record, right? And myself as well, right? So I do cater to that. But a lot of the times, you know, yes, it is sort of scripted, but not really, right? It's just because I know the characters really well that I know how to sort of put them together. My number one thought is right away is once I'm done with a game, feedback right away. That's one of those things I like to get feedback right away. And if you're just gonna complain, then I don't want to hear it. Like I'll listen to it, but if you're just complaining that you just didn't have a fun time, you know, because you just didn't get to shoot a lot, then you don't get the games that I run. So
Well, then I've listed the reasons on and how to change that.
Exactly. And the big thing too is that if you don't say anything, a problem doesn't exist.
yeah. What else? Anyone else have bottom lines that they want to introduce? Elliot, I'm guessing.
Balance. Every game has to be balanced because you can, like, yes, you can have unbalanced sections, but the overall game, if it's unbalanced, it doesn't work. There has to be a willingness to play the game because there's a chance of victory. So if there's zero chance of victory, then what's the point in playing? And that's what a lot of people will have a problem with is, oh, well, you just have to survive until you will die. There is a timer. That's your chance of victory, is having a better timer than the team when they switch sides. But it's like, yeah, you have zero chance of winning. You're not going to capture that objective. Why would you go play the game?
Yeah.
Definitely my bottom line is improving on the game mode and like the scenario, just because there's always something to learn, you know. Even if it was all positive, there's always something that you can still learn, even if it's a positive, you know, learning experience.
I would say the most important thing for me is just fun. You know, we just want everybody to have fun and having a creative idea that's different. That's always a good idea because we don't want too much repetition. And so like we were saying earlier, if you're getting bored with the game modes, then maybe try something different. Like if you're getting bored of attack and defend the big cabin and you're always inside of it, maybe try being outside and defending the cabin from that way.
Can we have a theme, like Disney princess theme or something?
Ooh, does everybody have Disney princess dresses?
I feel like you'd be the only one.
Maybe. I don't
Hey,
know.
there's
I'm
enough
sure I could
girls
find
around here to play with it, so.
Yeah, but we're not damsels in distress. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's 2020, boy.
Yeah. We got
Okay,
some
I will
badass
wear the
ladies.
dress then.
There
I
we
will
go.
wear the
That's
dress.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
In
20.
distress.
It's
The girls
2020.
don't need protecting. We can hold our own.
Like, can I be like Dane in distress?
Are you saying the person or are you saying a dame?
Dane, like guy. Isn't
Private Dane?
Like it's like isn't it Dame is the girl and then no?
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You mean Prince?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Are you
It
speaking?
could just
Very
be
different
tack
words.
and distress. How about that?
I'm failing it. Obviously, I did not do well in English.
Currently,
okay,
you're
guys?
already in distress.
I'm definitely in distress now with everyone looking at me.
Yeah. The
Goodness
bottom
me.
line is basically, just trying to make sure everybody has a good time because, this is a hobby at the end of the day. We're all out here to sling BBs and have fun, and slinging BBs in a different way is definitely the way to go about it.
And to point to that, it's still a sport, so someone still has
It's a
to win.
hobby. It's a sport.
I think we got our next topic. Is it a hobby or a sport?
It's a sport. For all of you out there, it's a hobby. I've seen you run.
Oh, here comes the chair.
Go ahead, throw it.
Sport.
I've seen you run. This ain't a sport.
I've seen you run.
Yeah, it's a sport.
Not at all.
Okay, we'll save this for another topic.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, right? These guys run 100 feet.
You have to define what a sport is, right?
Oh boy, let's save it for another time.
Don't even, because people tried to go on this on the esports thing, and fucking guess what? Esports is a sport now.
Yeah, because there's a defined definition of sport.
It's very easy to make it defined.
Yeah, you have a scoring system. That's it.
Not necessarily.
See, I introduced that in my
How so?
games with the scoring system, right?
How so?
Oh god, we're getting into it
Can
now.
you tell me
Okay.
one reason, like
on.
one thing where there's a scoring system where it's not sport?
Well, because
Just one.
It's like all.
Just one.
It's all the athleticism.
Just
that's
one.
involved, though.
Just one thing that's got a scoring system that isn't a sport.
Someone has to win.
Just one. That's what you need. One
Yeah,
example.
I guess someone has to win.
You could probably look at the
Gambling.
definition.
That's not a
Gambling.
scoring.
Gambling's not a sport.
That's not
That's
sc-
gambling.
There's also no
Yeah, no,
scoring.
there's
Gambling
Poker-
is not in the Olympics, okay?
And there's no scoring system.
Poker is. I feel like I beg to differ. Your money is.
That's a profit system. That's not a scoring system.
All right.
Okay, but is tag a sport then?
I was
If
playing
this is what
devil's
we're talking
advocate. I was trying to defend him. Okay, I know how stupid he is. God,
Let's put this
tell
out
me
to the
how
audience.
it's a sport again.
I need one example of something that you get a
Everyone
scoring
out there
system.
treats it like a hobby. None of you
Hold
guys
on.
treat it like an athlete.
Hold on,
You're
Elliot.
not-
What was that? What was that?
I need one example of something with a scoring system that is not a sport.
Put that down in the
Airsoft.
comment, guys. Put that down in the comments, guys. All right, I think that pretty much wrapped things up. Did you guys want to add anything to the topic or anything like that? I think
Thanks to anyone who made it this far. I really appreciate it. Just throwing that out there.
our 5 viewers. Is that right, Laura?
5 viewers?
if-
I don't know. It's probably 2 by now.
Yeah,
Maybe if we're
Tell me
lucky.
We're still rolling. Yeah, we've just been roasting you off air.
But I think back to the topic of girls and airsoft. If you're a girl and you want to get into airsoft, I highly doubt any girls are actually watching this, but this is a really friendly community. It is male dominated, but there's a lot more girls getting into it. So if you're interested, come out. You can come by yourself, bring friends. It's super fun. And yeah, like I said, the community is really welcoming.
Mind you, we've had 2 bachelorette parties here.
Yes.
And
We
they
have.
kicked ass.
Yeah, honestly, the girls love it. Like, even
2
if you're
of
scared
them
to
were
come
like
out, just try it.
ex-soldiers and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I hate to
Wow.
crush your guys' spirits, but our demographics are 100% male. So
What? Are there
No, there's a lot of girls that come out.
No, they're not.
We probably have more girls
Oh,
than
you're
any...
talking about the audience?
Oh, yes. Oh, I thought you meant Panther.
Did you
We have a
just
lot of
check it
girls
right
here.
now?
Because I was just going to go with those people must know goals, though.
yeah.
Hopefully. If you don't know any goals, please let me know and I'll introduce you to at least one.
at least one.
Oh God.
She's not single, though, and it's the only girl.
And it's the only girl I know.
And with that,
Oh, boy.
I think that's close to the episode 11 of the
Yep.
Panther Folding Tabletop.
I think
I
that's a
think
wrap.
so. I think that's a wrap for us
Yeah.
here.
How have we not been canceled yet?
Don't worry.
Please sponsor us.
Who's sponsoring us?
Come on,
Anyone.
Ansi. Ansi, please.
Anyone
Guys,
sponsor
it's
us.
your boy Tack. I'll catch you guys next time.
All right, guys, that's it. This is Poi. We got Laura,
Bye.
and we got Elliot,
Farewell.
and we got Mac,
Work on your fitness.
and ending off with Tack.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you guys on another segment. Goodbye.
Tack, you're good.